Hey guys, I am so excited for today's episode. Today we have the incredible Sarah Lindsay on. I was just reading and fact checking Sarah's bio and it's just unbelievable. Sarah is a 3-time Olympian, a European gold medalist, 2 times world silver medalist and 10 times British skating champion. Alongside Sarah's own athletic experience, she was also the strength and conditioning coach for several members of Team GB figure skaters, taking 2 of the athletes to the Winter Olympic Games in Vancouver. And now, since retiring, Sarah has made the full transition into coaching and opening Raw Fitness, which is an incredible business, which we're going to go into. This episode is going to be all about discipline, strength training, an athlete's mindset, and kind of the transition into entrepreneurship. So I'm so excited for this one, and welcome, Sarah.
Thank you for having me, darling. Lovely to see you.
So nice to see you. I'm so glad we're doing this because we just did our photo shoot the other day and I was dying to just pick your brains and I was having to save it for today. So I'm really looking forward to this. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
So firstly, I want to kind of go into a bit of your backstory of when you started as an athlete. I was just saying beforehand, to become this level of an athlete takes a certain amount of discipline then we can't even imagine. So I want to dive into your disciplined brain. So give me the backstory.
Well, I started, I did lots of sport as a kid, right? So some hyperactivity, and my parents sent me to every sports club going before and after school, I think just to run off some energy, make me a bit more manageable potentially. And I was figure skating actually. So a friend of mine was figure skating. So I used to go with her to figure skating classes. And then someone was talent spotting and just asked if I would try out speed skating, which is racing rather than dancing, right? So it's on ice in circles as fast as you can. And it's a direct competition with other people in the race. So sort of 4 to 6 people in a race. So a little bit different to figure skating. And I loved it straight away. I was far more athletic than I was graceful, let's say. So it was a kind of natural thing for me to go into. And then I just started to drop the other sports because I just really, really loved it. And I think because it's a small sport, they take you on board, they look after you, they put so much into making you good because they're looking for talent, they're desperate for it.
Yeah. So they kind of took you under their wing and really nurtured that talent.
Oh, yeah. And you're surrounded by other achievers. So within my team, there are people on Team GB. There's people that have been to the Olympics. I've got an Olympic medalist. So you're just following in other people's footsteps. I believe from a very young age that I would go and I would win and everything because that was normal. So lucky to be in that kind of environment where it's just what you do and what other people around you are doing. So you believe it. And when you believe it, things really do happen.
That's so interesting, the reference to it being such a small industry at the time and you just being surrounded, the benefit of being surrounded by these overachievers in that field. So it just kind of was well, this is what we're going to do. I love that.
Yeah, well, it's that age-old thing, isn't it? Of you're a product of the people you surround yourself with. And when you're around people that are doing this thing and they're winning these races and competing on such a high level, like I said, it felt very normal.
Yeah. And what did your training program look like at the time?
Gosh, I'm talking, so I started when I was 8. So that was just, for fun, and you just compete and race against all your friends and everything. And then I made the national team when I was 15, and then I was full-time as soon as I left school, ultimately. So I went to college, but it's really difficult. I moved out of home and I was working and trying to skate and do college. And so I ended up putting my formal education on pause so that I could commit to my sport. And I thought I'll give it a year, see how well I do and how good I get, and then reassess, my life choices. So, but it just kind of snowballed from there, really.
So what ages did you skate from until, you said from 8 until what age were you?
So I retired at 29.
29.
So
okay.
2010, I retired.
So those are the years that everyone else is kind of going out at uni, partying and doing all these different things.
Yeah, exactly.
Making all the mistakes. And so how did you have it in you, this kind of naturally disciplined mindset, or was it something you had to train over a certain amount of time?
It was a little bit of just what I did. That was my life and my lifestyle. And I never felt like I was missing out by not going out and not, going clubbing and that sort of thing. Like I didn't want to. And it's great, I've got a little wild streak, but I didn't want to risk it. I didn't want to put what I was doing in jeopardy. And I just wanted that more at the end of the day. That was more important to me. And you can't do both. You can't drink. You can't, you're training 2 to 3 times a day, every day. You've got one day off. You can't spend it with a hangover. So I never had a drink. I didn't drink until I retired, basically. It was like once a year, you might have a couple at the sort of final world championship party, but you don't drink the rest of the time. It doesn't benefit what you're doing. So.
And was there anything that you did in that time to go deeper on your discipline, or was there any kind of lessons you picked up along the way that we could apply to our or you've taken with you maybe?
I think people really expect to feel motivated. I get asked all the time still, how are you so motivated? And I'm not. No. I would rather be at the spa, just like everybody else. I don't want to be hot and sweaty and out of breath. I don't like the feeling of pain. There's a few people that like that but not me. But I really like the benefits of it. So I don't give myself the option to not do it. I've got a plan, I know what I'm doing, and I have a routine. And it basically comes down to discipline and habit. And when you do something for long enough, it just becomes what you do. So, people give themselves a hard time because they're not motivated, but don't expect to be. That comes and goes. You can't love, what you do all the time.
No.
Your favorite thing in the world could be shopping. But if you went shopping every single day for, hours a day, you'd soon stop enjoying it.
Yeah.
So you just have to make it part of your life, part of what you do, and you go regardless. You don't have to be motivated, whether you're happy, sad, peed off, whatever. Just go, just stick to it, just turn up, and you always feel better for training. Everybody says that, right? But you always feel better for doing the exercise.
Yeah, I mean,
never a bad choice.
Cliche, but everyone says, don't they? You never regret a workout, and you really don't.
No.
Like you say, and if you just go, or whether you're doing a workout from home or you're going to the gym, if you are relying on motivation, then 90% of us just would never go. I'm the exact same as you. I don't have that motivation most of the time, but I've kind of instilled that discipline. And I think, as you say, forming that habit sometimes takes care of a lot of the work. And this is why I'm so excited about our September collaboration challenge, because I think September is such a great time to go into habit forming and everything, but I specifically wanted to do a 3-week challenge with you, because I think if you are able to stick to something every single day for 3 weeks, you kind of you get in that habit mindset and it becomes a part of you. And I think there's, as you said about the motivation thing, once you have that habit, the discipline follows, because it's okay, well, it's almost like rinse and repeat. Just, this is what my life is now. This is a part of me. And then when you do have a day off, I don't know if you feel the same, but you feel slightly off. There's a difference between really indulging in a recovery day, which is amazing. I am all about, we can talk about recovery later, but I really think recovery is so important. And that's different between having, a day where you just can't be bothered and you don't do it. You have a different feeling around it. I don't know if you feel the same.
Well, a recovery day, if it's a, rest day, recovery day, you still want to help the next day's training. If you're going to train the next day, you don't want to feel bad for taking a day off. So, sometimes it's just a bit of movement, or just, go for a walk or have a stretch, or just, I think as well, when, like you say, it's such a big part of your life and what you do, I think you release all these endorphins, and you have this sort of, your body wants to feel good, and it doesn't take much. it can just be, like I said, just a little walk or a stretch, and that's sometimes enough just to help you release those endorphins, know that you've done something special for yourself and for your body, and to aid the recovery for the next training session.
Yeah, and it's like your habit, you forming that habit is almost like setting you up for success and giving you that feeling and those endorphins.
Yeah, well, it also means that the rest of the choices for the rest of the day generally are going to be better. So whatever starts off your sort of healthy mindset, whether it's just drinking a glass of water or taking some supplements or, making sure you have a good breakfast, it just means that if you do those things, the next thing, it's like habit stacking, isn't it? It's like the next thing is always a healthier decision.
I really like the philosophy, or I don't know if you can call it a philosophy, but everyone has a bad day, right? And an off day. And some days it's just like, okay, today is not my day, but don't do 2 days consecutively, because that's when you fall out of the habit. So I think if you give yourself that discipline of having that promise to yourself of, okay, I will allow myself a bad day every once in a while and an off day, but never 2 days in a row. And I think that sometimes helps. Like it kind of gives you that freedom of like, okay, we're all human, but at the end of the day, like I need to come back to that discipline. And what do you think? Because right now we're in a very I don't know if you feel the same, but I've really noticed on social media and everything, there's this kind of soft girl era and soft messaging behind things, and be kind to yourself and all these type of things. What do you think about that? What's your thoughts on that approach?
Well, I think you should be kind to yourself. I think your self-talk is so important. I don't think you should give yourself a hard time. It's only from within. It's only us that really cares or really thinks negatively in that way. And I think you have to put a stop to it. The first thing you think in the morning will change the rest of the day. So I do think you should be good to yourself, but I don't think to the point of being so soft that you never have a reality check. You have to also tell yourself the truth, which I think is really, really important as well. You can't just fluff over everything to your own detriment.
Yeah, that's a good point. That kind of comes from self-awareness, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, I come from a background, my sporting background. My coaches were all very military, were all male, were really hard, really, really tough. And there was nothing soft about it. You're getting yelled at a lot, especially me, I think. And in personal training, obviously, it's a very different thing. And there's the sort of crossover of customer service, but also, like I said, delivering the truth to people. You can't just soften it and say, oh no, you can do that. You can't. When they have this goal in mind, it's like they deserve the truth. You've got to tell them what it takes.
Yeah.
It's not just turning up and doing a little bit of this. If you really want these results, you have to commit. Yeah. So I think it's doing everything in a nice way, but you still, like I said, the truth has to still be present.
Yeah, I agree. And your clients are relying on your honesty and your integrity within their training plans or whatever it might be. As you say, they all come in with goals. It might be a physical goal or changing their habits and forming these healthy routines, but you have that takes a certain level of trust, doesn't it, for you to be able to be honest with them.
Of course. And they don't know what it takes necessarily.
No,
they come in and they see these results.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you delivered a half-hour session and that's just the way that they train, they will think that's what it takes to get the result.
And
you have to tell them.
Exactly.
Of course, that's not what they came for,
No. Okay, so I want to talk about Raw, because what you've created is incredible.
Well,
I love following you guys on social media. I think it's just such a cool gym that you've created, but also brand. And I think it's really nice because it is everything we're talking about. It's that strength training, it's that discipline, but also it's really approachable at the same time, if that makes sense.
Okay, good.
No, yeah, it really, really comes across that way. So when did you first launch Raw?
So we're 9 years, actually. Wow. just last week. Yeah, the first one was 9 years ago. And I had a previous business, same, very similar thing, different name. And then when I left that and we had to sort of restart and rebrand and try and create something that was it's, you know, it's so authentic. We're just lucky. We're just 100% what we are, what we believe, what we do. And it's just landed nicely, you know, which is so good. I've got no marketing background or design background, nothing. I just know what works, what gets people in shape. Obviously, I have a huge history of working with some incredible coaches, incredible endocrinologists, and a sports science team. So the sort of practical application of the science, you know, is at my fingertips. So I'm really, really lucky with the education that I've had through sport.
Yeah. And now you have how many sites? One in Dubai.
So we have, so Dubai was Raw 4.
Okay.
So we did the 3 in London, and then moved to Dubai and opened there.
Oh my gosh. And
I'm kind of stuck there.
Yeah. And how's it going in Dubai?
Dubai's good. It's kind of easy. It actually feels like Raw 1 all over again. It feels like a brand new brand. Some people know us obviously because there's a lot of English people there, but we're still going in kind of cold. So when we started, and we don't have any marketing, we can't put any advertising anywhere. So Dubai's quite strict on that kind of thing.
Oh yes.
And
you don't think about that, yeah.
No, but I mean, the thing is, it means it's
probably
a slower ramp
nice.
up. Yeah, it is nice because
everyone on what matters.
Yeah, there's that. And everybody brings somebody. So it's all word of mouth. So people are coming in because their friend is doing it and they love it. So everybody kind of knows each other.
Yeah.
So, which does really lend itself to a great community. Everyone's friends. It's really easy.
Yeah. And actually in Dubai, what I've always found whenever I've gone is the sense of community is very strong, because a lot of people are expats moving over there, and their friends are very, very close, solid friends. Do you find the same?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think because everyone's new or has been new fairly recently. So everybody wants to look after each other. They get it. You know, everyone wants to look after each other. I made, I think, lifetime friends within a week of being in Dubai. The people that I met in the first week, I've been there 3 years now, and I'm very, very confident that there's at least a couple of people that I'll be friends with forever. And that's really rare, I think, in adult life.
It's really rare. How did you meet them? Was that through work or?
No, it's through. So I had a friend of a friend in London. So people do this a lot. They'll say, oh, you need to meet this person. Yes. They're great. You know, I love them. They moved out there. I don't see them anymore. Let me put you in touch. So I've had a bit of that, which has been really nice, because, you know, it's like a recommendation from a friend.
Yeah, it's like dating.
Yeah, totally. So I've had that. And then it's one of these things where everything is so open in Dubai. So if you get invited to something, you can just go. You can go on your own. You can, not know anybody, and you can turn up and people will welcome you in. And it's very normal to go to things by yourself, which in London is just awful. But no, it is. You walk into a room and everybody knows each other and it's really cliquey and everything. But Dubai, everyone's like, hi, who are you?
Yeah.
Welcome. And you don't have to know anyone. I think you could probably just gate crash every event and every party, and people would just, think really you were supposed to be there. So yeah, I've done that. I've just been invited to like somebody's birthday, for example, who I'd never met, and it's just friends in common. She's like, come to my birthday. There's like only 15 people going for dinner. And I'm like, really? This seems a bit weird. But actually in Dubai, once you know it, it's not at all.
Yeah, so normal. Yeah. There's also a very big wellness scene, I think, in Dubai now.
Huge.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Everyone is doing fitness.
Yeah.
Everyone is on some kind of fitness journey, because there's a lifestyle to balance, because nobody cooks. Everybody just eats out every meal.
Yes.
Or just orders. It's cheaper to order in than it is to cook yourself. So no one cooks.
Are so expensive.
Yeah, and delivery is not. So everyone eats out every meal, but you also have to go to the beach. So people want to look good.
Yes.
So it's like this balancing act. So everyone's doing something in fitness. So there's lots of room for lots of people, even though it might look like the market's saturated.
Yeah, it's just always growing. Okay, so this leads me on to your wellness, fitness philosophy, because so we just did this photo shoot, and you are like, those statues that are just so sculpted and honestly, I was looking at you, and especially at the moment where I just feel like I'm just holding on to all this like water weight and everything.
Oh, bless you.
I was like, oh my God. Okay, so I need to know the ins and outs, the nitty gritty, everything. And I know that everyone will want to know what you do, how you train, what you eat, supplements and things like that. So what is your approach to strength training?
Well, strength training for me is the non-negotiable.
Yeah.
So whatever else is happening, however busy I am, that's the thing that I will never drop.
Yeah.
So I always weight train. It's so important to be strong, crosses over into every other area. And whatever your goal is, the stronger you are, the more likely you are to achieve that goal. Even if you want to do distance running, even if you've got a performance goal where you want to, you're still going to benefit from doing some prehab and getting your body ready to be able to cope with all the pounding on the streets. And if your top speed, for example, is faster because you're stronger and have more power, then your cruise speed is faster. So it's always relevant. And I think when people come in, I always try and make people strong first and foremost. The stronger you are, like I said, the harder you can train. So that's like the first thing that I really want to nail with people. And you can always benefit from being stronger. And for the longevity as well, the stronger you are. And it seems premature talking about this. I mean, I'm 45. And I think all my grandparents got well into their 90s. So I should, fingers crossed, have a long time to go. But I want to be able to enjoy my life. I want to be able to travel and climb and not make decisions based on not being able to do stuff because you're scared or you're physically not capable of doing it. So I think, one of your best shots is to make sure that, like I said, you're physically as capable as possible, which I think is, strength is so important. And obviously with the, bone density and, having some muscle mass means your metabolism is faster or your basal metabolic rate is higher. So you can eat more without gaining weight. I mean, that in itself is enough, right? You can eat and maintain your body.
Okay, so tell me, what are you eating? Because one of the things I'm seeing a lot is reverse dieting on people. I don't know if you've seen it as well, but people are obviously, they're strength training, they're doing Pilates, they're walking, they're doing this big fitness program, but they're actually eating more than ever, but they're potentially dropping weight from it. So talk me through your approach to nutrition. You mentioned that Dubai is just like such a distraction because everyone's out and about and ordering. So how do you...
And for girls as well, you get invited to everything. As a woman or a girl, you don't even have to pay for anything. It's like for girls, everything is just, it's like Vegas, everything is just free.
That's
so
crazy,
it's really hard not to just go in. Everybody gains a little bit when they first get there. But actually that is what you're talking about, is one of the, which I've done for 15 years now. Generally I will try to increase somebody's calories, so I'll get somebody to eat more than they normally do but still lose weight and body fat. And there's different ways of doing that, but really you want to improve somebody's metabolism, not slow it down. If you bring your calories, just say, as an example, plucking numbers here, but if your basal metabolic rate was 1,500 calories, so the amount of calories you can eat at rest without gaining weight was 1,500. If you only eat 1,000, eventually that will come down to join it. Your basal metabolic rate will come down to join that 1,000 calories, and then you can't eat more without gaining weight and body fat. So the ideal situation is to be able to eat as much as possible and either maintain your body or, to lose, whatever the goal is. So... And
how do you do that?
So
if someone comes in, like you say, at 1,500 and wants to increase it to what, 2,000? How would you go?
Well, there's the balance. Obviously, there's the energy balance there. So there's lots of different things you can do. But most people are coming in with just not eating well in general. So the first thing with any nutrition plan, the most important thing underlying it should be optimal health. If your body is healthy and functioning well, because the quality of what you're putting in and potentially the timing of when you eat and that sort of thing is lending itself towards making your body healthier, whatever you're asking it to do will happen easier. So if you want to if you're healthy, you want to lose body fat, that will happen easier. If you want to gain muscle, that will happen easier. If you're improving your digestion, you'll be improving your sleep. All these things have such a knock-on effect. So you try and look at everybody's total lifestyle and see where are the potential holes, because to get a result, there's sort of three main areas, which are your training, your recovery, and your nutrition. And you have to try and optimize all of these things and try and improve. If you can make a big improvement on each of those, you're definitely going to be on the right path, right? So I'm trying to get people to eat more. And usually, like I said, you can take out things that somebody gets bloated when they eat a certain food, just get rid of it for a bit, and you'll probably at least drop water. and your digestion will improve. So then you can absorb your nutrients better and everything starts to improve. If you're sleeping, you'll lose more body fat. So I think it all kind of ends up in one pot.
Yeah.
And it's not that hard. Most people are walking around trying not to eat. Everyone's just trying not to eat. I've got to train, I've got to eat less. No, you probably don't. You probably just need to move some things around and improve the quality of it
and
as a starting point. Yeah, just eat, eating better.
So are you someone that eats the same meal every day or similar type of thing? Can you share like what you eat in a day? What's your go-to?
So if I'm traveling a bit, which obviously interrupts it.
Yeah.
I try to stick with, so regardless of the source of food, I try to stick with, for me, macronutrient timing definitely matters and it helps maintain where I am. So I try to keep carbs out of breakfast. I'm really simplifying it, right? I'm not telling everybody to do it, I try and keep carbs out of breakfast. So I try and have a protein and fats based breakfast. It's quite high calorie, but and then I try and time my carbohydrates around training. So most importantly, post-workout. So I make sure that I eat as much of my sort of daily carbs around lunchtime or around my training. And then I try to keep fats lower in the evening. Just it can be difficult to digest. Okay. So I try and basically have high fats and protein at the start of the day. Protein is a focus in every meal. And then like I said, the carbs are based around training or lunchtime. So usually middle of the day. And then it gets leaner as the day goes on. So my meats will get leaner. I'll use less oils and I try to keep dinner quite light and lean, which is obviously difficult for most people because you'll be hungry in the evening or you're just sitting around, you just want to snack or, pick on bits, which, is when we have the time and you think about it. But trying to keep that lean does make a big difference.
So you have your biggest meal at lunchtime?
Yeah, usually. So I do have a big breakfast as well.
And when do you train in the day in terms of the timing then? After breakfast, do you train?
So I used to always train in the morning. So I usually go for a walk in the morning as part of my sort of morning routine. I always go for a walk. And I used to be a morning because I wake up early and I want to train, I want to get everything done. But actually, as I've got older, I feel like I'm far less vulnerable to injury in the evening or in the afternoon. So once my body's really warmed up and I've moved around a lot, then I just feel like I can push that little bit harder, even though I'm busier in my head, I've got more on and I think I might not have time. I still always perform better in the afternoon.
But physically you feel like you can go for it better in the afternoon. So is that after lunch or before lunch?
After lunch.
After lunch, interesting.
Yeah, because otherwise it's too long. I get hungry. I'm not good at... I don't like waiting in between meals. I do pick quite a lot and I don't want to get hungry and then try and train. I always think, I've got to eat. So I try to eat lunch, give it an hour or hour and a half and then I'll train.
And before you know it, it's dinner anyway.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then I have my post-workout nutrition and then it's dinner.
What do you think is a really good post-workout snack?
So it depends what your goals are a little bit. You want to try and get protein and carbs in. Ultimately, don't worry about the fats at this point, but I don't like synthetic food. I like to do everything from scratch. And I like whole foods and more natural foods. But there is a place for post-workout nutrition. I can't handle whey protein at all. It's does terrible things to my stomach, and I have some issues with dairy. So I use a vegan shake, which usually tastes kind of disgusting. It's difficult to find nice.
Which brand do you like the most?
I switch. I'm really sorry. I know you want these details.
Okay.
But no, I can't remember. I switch a little bit. I try to rotate. I'm not quite sure what's in there at the moment. But really, go on, taste. Which one? Form. Yeah, I have actually.
That's a good
I don't think you can get it in Dubai. I should stock up
and
take it back with me.
I stock up on all my things like that, and maybe you can get Health to send it to you. But Form is good, and Truvani is a good vegan one.
Okay, nice. I will look that up.
Yeah, but
it's so often they just taste terrible.
I know, a lot of them do, really like powdery and stuff.
So you just have to think of it like medicine sometimes, because it is important. It will help your recovery. Not everything has to be a treat, right? So if you can't find one you like, you just got to get it down anyway.
And if you put some frozen banana in there, it just takes everything.
Spot on.
Takes the edge off.
Okay, and there's your carbs as well.
Exactly.
So
and in terms of supplements, what are you taking?
So mine it always varies depending on what you're doing at the moment, what your goals are.
Yeah.
If you've had, if I'm lucky, but I do get blood work done and I look at, where I'm deficient and everything. So, but I've just been, as we discussed before, I've been going through an IVF journey. So I've been taking things that I've been, advised to take for that.
Yeah.
But standardly, I will always take zinc, magnesium, a vitamin C, a multivit. I do take a creatine now for cognitive function, which has actually really surprised me.
Oh,
this is something
I love creatine.
I've been having real problems, and I didn't know why, but actually, from my recent testing showing that I'm celiac, and I know there's lots of different types of being celiac, and it's not anaphylactic, it's not an allergic response or anything. And I thought it was fine because I don't have any gut response. So I actually did some testing. I did some gut testing, and it only showed a couple of things on that I shouldn't be having, dairy being one of them, even though I haven't had it in 20 years or something. So that showed really high. So, but nothing else. And they were like, "Wow, you've got guts of steel. You can eat anything." And I was like, "Amazing." And then for the fertility journey, they said just to rule it out, gain a bit of body fat. So I was like, "Great, I can really go for it." And I was just naturally eating all these things that weren't gluten-free that I wouldn't normally have all the time in my diet.
Okay.
So I'd go out to eat and I'd, order cake afterwards. I'm like, yeah, get it in. And instead of having just a bit of bread, I'd eat the whole basket and that kind of thing. And then that month where I was doing that, where I was waiting for my inflammation and histamine results as well. So in that month where I was waiting for those results, they're just slower to get. I was having the worst brain fog. I couldn't string a sentence together. It was so bad. Like my husband was like, "This is worrying." My grandparents have had dementia.
And that was when you were having a lot of gluten.
Yeah, and I didn't even connect the dots. If you'd said to me, "What's your middle name?" I go, "Joanne." It takes like a second to access the words, and it's not like I don't know the information. So I was really quite worried. And then so I spoke to the doctor about it, and she said,
"So interesting."
Yeah, and I got the histamine response, and they're like, "Okay, celiac, gluten, you shouldn't touch it." And I was like, "Could this have had it?" And she's like, "Absolutely." And I can't remember
So is that
exactly what happens.
Did your doctor tell you that you were experiencing the brain fog because you were celiac, or because just gluten does that to people?
No, because of my intolerance, or because I'm celiac.
You were having a reaction to high gluten in your diet.
So you might think you're okay, you don't get bloated, you're fine, you don't have symptoms, so you think, "Oh, I'm fine with
but you have the
gluten."
Brain fog. That's
but
so
actually, and I wouldn't have known it was that.
No.
That could have been anything. But so really lucky that I had those tests, and I had this doctor who I think is great, who connected the dots for me, and I took it out, and within 3 weeks I could focus, I could speak. I mean, honestly, I couldn't even speak. It was really bad. And there's no coincidence, there's no exact proof of that, but
that was the only thing.
There's no coincidence. Yeah.
And also since that, was that when you introduced creatine?
Yeah. So she said, "Do this." She's like, you may as well. It might not do anything, but it might. Actually, it was a little bit later, so a few weeks after that. And she said, "Why aren't you having creatine?" I was like, "I don't know. It's just not been, on my list. I take loads of supplements. It's not been on my list of things. I'm not training that hard at the moment." Again, because I sort of scaled things back and haven't done a lot because of the IVF journey. And I was just being really careful.
Yeah, of course.
Even me, I tell people, "Oh, you're fine with it." But I just felt like I needed to protect myself. I don't know how
everything.
you feel at the moment.
I know what you mean. There's certain things. It's funny because there's certain things that I don't kind of believe in for myself, and I'm just like, no, and I'll just go with how my body feels. But there's certain things where I'm like, do you know what? I don't need to even take the risk. Do you know what I mean? It's funny. You kind of know yourself. And I know
we're just chasing these eggs so hard,
yeah.
and every little detail seemed to matter, and it's like you're just on the edge trying to grow these
fine tuning. Yeah,
exactly. So I'm like, don't really need to. I can take a bit of time off. Let's not risk it.
And was it a London doctor you had seen?
No, she's from the UK, but she's in Dubai.
And what can you share her details? Because I know people will ask.
Oh, I will need to. She's a Dr. Jenna to me, but I can't think of her surname. So maybe not helping with the brain fog quite as much. But she's great. Thanks, Jenna. So she's Dr. Jenna, and she's at Zomi. So
okay,
Zomi is a quite a new clinic.
Right.
and she's based there. So if you look up Zomi, which is Zoimi, then you'll find her.
Okay,
But
great.
I really do rate her, and she does video consultations as well. But I've sent a few
Perfect.
people to her, and I really do trust. She's a great GP.
Yeah.
But she's really into her endocrinology and longevity side of things as well. Just so smart. Some people,
Sometimes you meet people that just get it, and other times you're just like, we're not on the same page here.
99% of the time,
it's like that.
I'm so suspicious of everybody. I listen to every single word, and I'm like, you get one wrong, and I'm out. But Jenna's just been such a dream. She's great.
Oh, great. And what are the biggest fitness myths that you find so irritating that you constantly hear? Could be about fitness or strength in general.
I think one of the things, there's all the sort of standard ones, right? For me and the fact that I am very into weight training, and weight training can make you bulky, and people just sort of hard and fast say this isn't true or this is true. And I think it just depends. It completely depends. Some people can get bulky. Actually, some women do have the ability to gain muscle. It's unlikely, and it doesn't happen overnight. So if you don't like it, you can change what you're doing, right? You're not just suddenly going to gain all this muscle and be stuck there. But so there are those ones, and it does completely depend. But I think it's actually the industry trying to simplify everything so much, and they'll say, "Oh, you're just trying to make things complicated so that people need you." I'm like, well, no, they do. Most people, I still have somebody look after my training. No Olympian went to the Olympics without a coach. Got a nutritionist, and I was the most motivated, super talented, I knew plenty, but I still had a coach, a technical coach, a strength and conditioning coach, a nutritionist, a physio, a psych. You've got all these people looking after you. Everybody needs some help, right?
Always being a student. I think that's a good mentality.
And people just try and make it about calories in versus calories out. Like that's the only answer. But a lot of these people in this industry, and it will be guys, I sound terribly sexist, but it'll be guys in their mid-20s who are they're in great shape. Of course, if you cut yourself a few hundred calories, you're going to get leaner. Of course, that's going to happen. But when you have women coming in who are menopausal, have polycystic ovaries, have awful gut problems, and haven't eaten anything, they're eating under 1,000 calories and their weight is just stuck and they're exhausted. What are you going to do? Like give them less calories or make them go train when they're exhausted? It's not as simple as that. You have to look at everybody on an individual basis and really listen to people. Really try and work out where it is, like where are the holes? What can we do? How do we find the solutions to whatever's going on? And it does have to be a one-to-one situation. You have to talk it out. I can't make my own decisions regarding my nutrition. I will change the numbers to eat chocolate. I can make it work. So I'll just move it all around. But I wouldn't do that with a client. So I have to have somebody else set the rules for me so that
you can follow that.
Of course.
And that being said, and it is so personal, but are there any kind of general things that you've seen that just work for everyone? Like slight tweaks or slight changes in the everyday that just have such an impact?
I think prioritizing is the number one. Whatever your goal, however you're going to do it, you have to prioritize yourself and that result. If you want to get there, you have to think about it. You have to make a plan. You have to design what you're going to do to achieve that goal, and then you have to execute it. So really, people just don't prioritize themselves, especially women. Everybody else is more important than them. And it always becomes the last thing on their to-do list. Go Pilates. It's like the last thing. It's like, no, wake up and do that first. Look after yourself. And then maybe you'll be better at looking after everybody else if that's, the most important thing to you. But you do have to take care of yourself, and people just don't.
Yeah, I know. And you're so right. It's just creating that, like, I don't want to say this term is so overused, but it's like having those non-negotiables for yourself. That is, it seems and sounds or feels selfish at first, but it's not. It's the best thing you can do for everyone around you as well.
100%.
I know that if I don't have my time to even go for a walk or to work out or to have my alone time, I am not the same person. And it's so counterproductive to neglect that. That is the one thing you should not be changing in your day.
You deserve it.
Yeah.
You deserve to feel good.
Yeah.
It's your life and you have to enjoy as many of the moments as you can.
I
So
completely agree.
It's how you set yourself up, right, for the rest of the day. I won't open my emails until I've done my morning routine, because I know that I'm in a better position to handle whatever. Nothing good happens at 7 a.m.
No.
And I'm definitely going to be, come on. I don't want to read that. Like,
No.
let me sort myself out
Just
first.
give me a minute.
Yeah, then I can deal with it. And I'm definitely much better, delivering for other people once I'm in a good headspace. So I've got to start the day off in a really great way. Then I can deal with whatever's coming in.
What is your morning routine for success?
So I get up, obviously get up.
What time?
And I get up with the sun. I know I sound mad, but I just wait. I'm really light sensitive. And I didn't realize, which is a bit crazy, but I didn't realize until recently that it's not just your eyes, the light coming into your eyes, but it's actually your skin as well. I think I knew that, but I just hadn't really acknowledged it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's your skin as well. So even you wear an eye mask, I think I'm going to get more sleep. The sun comes in and it's on like my skin, you wake up. So I wake up early. At the moment in Dubai is about 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to get out. So I'll drink water, I'll take my supplements. If I can't wait, then I love my morning coffee so much. Then I'll have like a quick espresso and then I'll go for a walk, which is 45 minutes, which is like a half lap around where I live.
Yeah.
And then I come back and I have my breakfast and I take my coffee into the garden, and I've got a little grass area, and I just go stand like a mad hippie, but just stand barefoot on the grass. I don't wear much clothing, so I just wear little shorts and a crop, and I just look at the sun and I drink my coffee and I smile. And I think, again, I know that I sound a little bit woo, a little bit out there, but I just think that if you physically smile, it's hard not to feel happier, right? So, and I think the sun on your skin, I'm very lucky, obviously, in Dubai, but it is summer here now. So, and even when it was cold, even when there was snow, I'd wrap up and still go out barefoot and ground and take my coffee outside and just take some deep breaths and smile and think about why this feels so good.
And just arriving into the day, taking it all in and just feeling that gratitude first thing. Like a lot of people say, oh, feel gratitude and stuff, but actually being so specific on your gratitude in the morning, really thinking about your day ahead, it has such an impact.
I believe it does. Yeah,
definitely.
Do you do that?
So I go for a walk in the morning, and I'm the same as you. I split my 10,000 steps. So I do 45 minutes in the morning and then 45 minutes in the evening.
Nice.
And I just find, the weather in Copenhagen is not as nice as the weather in London. So when I'm in Copenhagen, it's less sunny, definitely. Okay. But I get myself out there and I go on a walk, and it just makes me feel so good. But I eat first thing, which is something I've changed, and nice. I now eat before my matcha, which I never did. I always had a very different morning routine. I used to not feel hungry. I used to wait until 10 or 11 to have something, and I'd have my breakfast and my matcha first thing. So now I wake up, I do so many things. I read a lesson from the Daily Stoic in the morning. I don't know if you've read that book. Have you got it?
No, I haven't.
I need to send you it. It's so good because it gives you a lesson a day, and really it gives you each day per date, and
nice.
It just gives you like one thing, and it twigs something in your thought process for that day.
Ooh,
it's
nice.
a really good one. I read my Daily Stoic every day. I often post it actually, so you can test it on my.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, and I'll do my ice rolling, and I'll have breakfast, and then I'll go for my walk, and then I'll come back, have my matcha, and then I'll do a workout. So I
bet you really look forward to that matcha as well.
Oh, it's so nice, and it's like my reward after the walk, especially if it's like raining or slightly cold. I'm like, no, I'm going home to my matcha. I've got this.
I need matcha help.
Oh, well, I need to
I just can't feel it. I've tried, maybe I'm just not having nice matcha, or maybe it's because I'm trying to replace my coffee with it, and I love my coffee so much that nothing compares. But but I do need to try.
A bad matcha, I agree. I would never drink. There's so many bad matchas out there that make a lot of people think that matcha isn't their thing. But One of my best friends, actually, she was like a complete coffee addict. But she had anxiety and she had struggled sleeping. So I said, okay, why don't you try to half your coffee intake and maybe replace it with 2 matchas a day instead. And anyway, now she never drinks coffee. She's only matcha. I know.
Wow.
And then she was like a die-hard coffee fan. So
it's my favorite thing.
I'm going to send you a whole thing, but there's actually a global matcha shortage right now, so that's a whole other topic.
Well, how are they putting it in everything? Because everywhere I go, it's like sprinkled into like croissants.
I know.
Like, stop trying to make that. Just let people have a croissant. Stop trying to make that croissant healthy by making it look a little bit green.
Yes,
that's not what it's for.
It's so true, and I always say it's like the cooking grade matcha that they'll use. So in terms of health benefits, exactly. It's kind of like cooking wine that you would never actually just drink on its own.
I get it. Yeah. Okay.
But anyway, let's talk about our September challenge. I am so excited about this. I've loved doing this, and actually I tried one of your classes the other day when I was traveling.
Oh, good.
And
how was that?
They are gonna be so good. The one that I did was amazing.
Okay,
and
good.
The reason why I'm so excited on a personal level is that I do 4 Pilates classes a week, 2 weight training sessions. And that's pre-pregnancy, during pregnancy. I keep it up, and I really think that now more than ever I need to do that. And it's made such a difference to my physical appearance, but also my mindset, adding that upper body and lower body weight training session in a week. And we were like researching who we wanted to do this, and it was just like hands down, it needs to be Sarah. So that's so nice. Honestly, the classes are brilliant. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm going all in on this challenge. I can't wait.
Amazing, great.
So talk to me about the benefits of combining Pilates and strength, because I think it's funny, isn't it? Because people like to be very extreme one way or another, like, oh, I don't do strength, I'm a Pilates girl. I don't do Pilates, I'm a strength girl, whatever. Yeah. But actually, for me, the secret sauce in terms of definitely physical results has been the combination of the two.
Of course. And I've always said that they're complementary to each other. And if I have somebody come in who does Pilates, I don't have to coach them on how to move or their body awareness. Their core is always like, it's not the weak link. Yeah. You have to adapt so much for so many people. And if they have a Pilates background, we're already halfway down the line. And I mean, for my own personal, when I had a terrible injury once from skating, and I couldn't train for 1 year and 3 months, and I had 5 months of absolutely nothing. And then I brought in Reformer Pilates. Yeah. And that's all I did for months. That was all I was able to do. And it got me into such a good position to be able to train again and lay such great foundations for me. So when people come in and they do Pilates, I always make sure that they continue to do it, because obviously there's this time commitment to your health and fitness and how much time you can spend in the gym. But I'll always I want people to train 3 times a week, but I'll cut a session so that they can do their 2 Pilates sessions as well. So as far as the core goes, if your core is strong, and as you know, a lot of that will come from the awareness and being able to activate properly, then you've got this really solid base to push from. Yeah. So when you're trying to create force and you want the force to go, away from the body a lot of the time, you don't want the core to absorb that power. Yeah. So if you've got this strong base, you're always going to be stronger. So the two go really nicely, and also to help with recovery. They don't clash. Yeah. They're not going to make you, one doesn't make you more tired for the other.
Definitely. And I don't know if you've seen this, but so my husband, he's not recently, but since meeting me, introduced Pilates, and he's like all about strength training. But his strength training the results have gotten better since adding Pilates in, because as you say, he's lifting from a strong foundation. So it's so interesting how the two perfectly complement each other. And also in terms of injuries, I bet people having injuries in weight training is so popular, right? And if you're doing the Pilates, you've got that perfect alignment and form, so you're going to reduce the injuries, and then it's helping with longevity.
And so much of that, I think, comes from your awareness, your body awareness, and what you're really activating and how you're actually using your body.
Yeah, for sure.
So obviously you have a much better awareness if you do Pilates.
Yeah, it's going to be so great, this challenge. So we have 5 sessions a week. So we're doing 2 weight training, 3 Pilates sessions. One of those will be a live Pilates class, and then 2 will be recorded, and it's for 3 weeks. So we're going all in on this.
We're all in.
It's going to be so good. I am so looking forward to it. And I don't know about you, but for me, September is like this. I just get razor focused on my health and wellness. It's almost like I am throughout the year, but then I am very consistent and disciplined, but I have these moments and like spurts which make me like, they're like, okay, you've got this, like keep going, and like reassess, tweak certain things, optimize, and then go all in. And I feel like September's that final moment to push for the rest of the year. Do you feel the same way about September?
Yeah, I do. You can't just do the same thing all the time. No. Your body adapts and gets used to it. So you need to shake things up sometimes. So it is really nice to have that reset, to reevaluate what you're doing, and to look at your goals and like, what am I going to do? How am I going to do that? And it's such a minefield. Like, where do you go? And how do you decide on what that new thing is going to be, or what that next thing is? So we've done it. We've delivered it.
Yeah, we're gonna kick it off with a bang. I also find like if I'm so structured and disciplined on my health and wellness, whether that's my training or journaling or meditating or walks, I find that my business productivity is just 10 times better. I feel like I'm just sharp. Do you feel the same?
100%. 100%. Because also I think you feel like when you're not doing the thing, there's the contrast, isn't it? So when you're used to it and you're always on it and you always look after yourself, you're used to feeling good. But when you take that away, then you realize how important that is and how much it affects you every day. And your productivity, all at work, productivity goes up if you work out at lunchtime. That's proven for years and years. People. So, businesses need to support their staff with exercise. It's so important. It shouldn't be seen as this time out or thing that you shouldn't do. It should be, it should be organized, not just, you should go train, and they don't mean it and they'd rather you stay at your desk. They should make it happen.
Encourage it.
Encourage it, and make it part of people's jobs.
Do team fitness even. Yeah, that's so
have fun.
That's so nice. And what do people need for your sessions?
You just need, so you can always do it with nothing. I mean, you need some dumbbells. Okay. Ideally, you need to find some weight from somewhere.
What weights are you lifting?
So I was doing, kind of varied a little bit, but I was doing 7.5. Okay. I think 7.5 kilo dumbbells. Okay. Everyone will vary a little bit, but you can, even if you've only got one set of dumbbells, you can just adjust what you're doing slightly. And I do talk about that during the sessions. So you can slow things down. You can just do extra reps while I'm talking in between. You can carry on if it's too light. If you've got a selection, incredible. And I feel like everybody has a couple of sets after lockdown, right? Everyone's scrambling around. Yeah. Everyone's got something at home.
Yeah. And actually there's even on Amazon, you can get those ones where you can adjust.
Adjustable.
Yeah, so good.
There we go. That's all you need. And I've got a mat just for comfort. Yeah. And a bench as well for most of them. But you can use a chair or a stool. A chair or a stool is usually better, or a poof, so there's no back to it. So that part of the chair doesn't get in the way. So ideally, or the sofa.
I was just going to say,
we'll find a way to make it work.
I use a coffee table. Like if I'm in London, I use a coffee table as my bench because it's a bit.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay, great. Well, I'm so ready for this. So thank you so much. And just to finish, I just want to do a quick fire round because I always like to just
quick fire,
get all the juice out of you. What's one piece of advice someone's given you that stayed with you?
I think maybe, I don't know if it's advice from somebody else or something that, I don't know, just something that I've always kind of believed, but it's to just not give up. You know, people get into these situations and where they don't feel like they're achieving. And I think especially with business, I mean, it came from sport ultimately, but I think it applies so much to business. I think so many young businesses and new businesses fail.
Yeah.
And I don't believe it's because the product isn't good or the brand isn't good enough. It's because it's really bloody hard. And people, it's tough. It's too hard. You know, it's tough for people and they can't deal with it and they just quit or they think, oh, this doesn't work. You have to just keep going until you make it work. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other until you get there. But I think people give up so easily sometimes. So I think just to never give up, get like the bit between your teeth and just keep going. And that comes down to your fitness or, you know, and training or business or education, whatever it is, but just don't let anybody else stop you and just don't give up.
And just to add to that, don't be fooled as well by this kind of perception that everyone's an overnight success these days. They're really not. Like some of the biggest businesses you see today have taken years and years and years.
They think it happens overnight, or you make it look that way. But that's because nobody knew you before.
I know, it's crazy.
Years and years, and then all of a sudden, people are like, "Wow, they came out of nowhere."
Yeah,
but they definitely didn't.
They didn't.
They've been grinding away forever.
Putting the groundwork in as well.
Yeah.
And if you could leave one piece of wellness advice to the listeners, what would that be?
Strength train.
Strength train.
You've got to lift. The only way to get stronger is to progress it and keep getting stronger. So of course you can get stronger doing lots of things, but to keep getting stronger, because you'll plateau at some point, is to progressively overload and keep lifting more and challenge your body. So I will always die on this sword, but I think for longevity and physical capability, you need to be as strong as you can. The higher point you can get, you can maintain that drop off as you go into older age. You want to be strong.
I love that. And everyone can start on the 1st of September with
Exactly, 1st of September. There we go.
I'm so looking forward to it. And
I can't wait.
It's going to be great. So guys, if you do want to sign up, you can go to pilatesbybryony.com and me and Sarah will be going live 1st of September. Well, not officially live, but you know what I mean. We're starting the challenge on the 1st of September. And it's 21 days. You can catch up anytime. Everything's on demand and recorded, so you can do it in your own time. But thank you so much for this, Sarah. I loved it.
Thank you so much for having me. That was really fun.
I can't wait. Thank you.
Okay. See you.